You are now listening to Nerd Hour. Amateur Hour. Please, allow me to show you something. Let's get to work.
It's Film Nerds Hour. Put in all the sound effects.
Yeah, that's a little too expensive for the fucking budget.
I'm overcompensating for energy because we're both tired. It's been a long day. But
Alright, don't burn your fuel tank in only a couple of minutes.
oh no. We got a gas leak. Welcome to Film Nerds Hour. As you saw by the title, we are talking about Over the Black Rainbow.
Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Beyond the Black Rainbow. Sorry.
This was a movie directed by Panos Cosmatos, and for those of you who don't know him,
See Mandy.
watch Mandy. Also, for those of you who were alive and young, or a little bit older back in the 80s, you'll also possibly know that Peter Weller, who starred as RoboCop,
Yep.
Alex Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
in 1 and 2, he starred in a little movie called Leviathan that was directed by Panos' father, George P. Cosmatos.
Yeah. I feel like straight off the bat, based on that, like, given, like, all of that information up front, it's pretty well known at this point, and probably you can guess we're not exactly going through this movie beat by beat, because we wouldn't know how.
This movie is something that not even
the director is like, I don't know what it's
Panos
about.
knows about.
Yeah.
So what I will say to you is, for those of you who also know of Leviathan, you'll also know that that came out the same year in 1989 was Deep Star 6 to rival it. Both got terrible ratings.
Yeah.
Although Leviathan got 24, which I don't think it deserves. I think it deserves at least a 59.
Mm-hmm.
But Deep Star 6 got a whopping 9%.
Yeah.
So you could see which one was more definitive.
Yeah. Just maybe.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
It
also,
is very...
Leviathan, you get what's her name? Meg Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes, I swear to God,
Pierce a
they're
soul.
so blue, and they pierce your soul like Mel Gibson's. Like, holy shit.
Would you say? Because I think for this general discussion, this is maybe a good topic starter. Budget for this movie was $1.1 million. Box office in the U.S. $56,491. Opinions on that?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
No, because this movie is very much not for everyone.
You know, I admire it, though. There's a reason I admired it.
I admire experimental, because at least you could say they freaking tried. You can't say they didn't.
Well, I don't even think it was a try. I think it was just an out there to be out there.
Yeah.
Like House was. I don't even think House tried.
Mm-hmm. No.
Or they really fucking didn't try hard.
Well, House did try, but it was like a half try. Don't diss House. That movie is art to me and you. You acknowledged a day later that it's art.
And I find Over the Black Rainbow art as well.
Yeah, it's just, it's a selected... Like, art is interpretive, and art can be appreciated by other people more than other people, and it's like...
What was that movie that George Lucas did? X something. That was also experimental. Because that one
it was his
red
short film.
robot gives me that vibe.
Yeah. The red robot that you take off its mask and it's a baby face.
Yeah, with dead blue eyes.
Yeah.
Which was like, seeing that image now, and I'm just like...
It's a 15-minute film called Electronic Labyrinth THX11384EB.
TRX.
THX.
THX, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Yeah.
It's got cops that look a lot like the T2 cops.
Huh.
Which
I would say it's an experimental. It got 86 on Rotten Tomatoes.
This TH, yeah.
Well, it's not a short film. It's an hour and 28 minutes.
Oh, I'm looking at a different thing then.
Yeah, because it's THX 1138.
Yeah, I'm looking at the original 15-minute short film.
Okay.
Electronic
Because,
Labyrinth.
yeah, I was like, it's on HBO Max, and it's got Sid Haig in it, rest in peace, and Robert Duvall.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Pleasance was in it as well.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, eventually it got made into a full movie. Which, good for him.
Which, more often than not, is how you get started.
Sid Haig's in it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Rest in peace.
Oh, yeah, I said that.
You did?
Yeah.
Can you tell we're tired, audience?
And Robert Duvall's in it as well.
Robert Duvall... No, I'm kidding. I heard you when you said that. Robert Duvall... Looking at Robert Duvall young is weird. Can I just say?
He always looks familiar, but not familiar.
Exactly.
He's 90. He's old.
Some point...
He's in The Judge, The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, The Godfather Part 2,
it
Days
might-
of Thunder,
It might bum you out, man, but
Falling Down, which I have to watch.
it might, at some point we're going to be that age too. Whether we're alive or dead, we will be 90 at some point. That weird
Let's
to think
not
about?
think about that right now.
Why? Why? What's so terrifying about your own mortality? It's something you have no control over. So why are you afraid of it?
I'm not afraid of it.
Why
I just want
are
to
we
live in
talking
the
about?
present. Live in the present now. We're young with some awesome bomb-ass movies.
I don't like living for the here and now. Because the here and now currently sucks. No, I'm kidding.
Which is why we have this podcast to
Yeah.
alert the nice people about the wonderful world of Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is an absolute mindfuck. If you guys still
Yeah.
haven't put it together by now, this month serves as the first half of our season 6 of being a mindfuck month.
If you haven't gotten it by now, and by now we're actually like episode 3 of 4 into it this month, so if you haven't gotten it by now...
Oh no, this is 4-4.
Oh, it is 4 of 4, you're right. Sorry.
So, yeah, to conclude this month, we do have Over the Black Rainbow. Now, I kind of want to go into a little bit about Panos Cosmatos, because I believe this is the perfect time to kind of work and talk about some of the development behind the scenes. Because if you want to view this movie, which I do believe you should if you have the time, or if you're just somebody who kind of wants to put some things on in the background and then occasionally look and be like, what the fuck, and have some interest, and then kind of go on Facebook again.
If you want to drop some acid... No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
No, but this is one of those movies that you should not, because it would drive you insane.
I know.
This is one of those movies that people joke about doing drugs for.
The aesthetic is nice. I like the aesthetic of this film.
I would say... well, two things. Honestly, the set design is amazing. The posters is amazing. And if anybody were to get stoned and do something fun, not advising it, but
You're gonna get sucked.
Evil Bong,
Yeah,
which we'll definitely have to do.
Really?
Yes.
Really? I see. It's bad. Like, it's not... It's just bad.
I'm not surprised. You know what else is just bad? Leprechaun.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I got that whole collection. I was like, whoa, shit.
Hey, you want an authentic Beyond the Black Rainbow figure?
They do make those from time to time.
I know, but it's very clear that that's not what that is.
Well, let me guess, it's like $100.
Yeah, you're close, 75, and it's out of stock.
But some of the people, I don't know if you recognize any of these people.
I didn't. I 100%
Scott
recognize-
Hylands looks familiar.
He has one of those faces, I think.
But he's only done what a couple of people probably know. So Earth 2, Daddy's Gone A-Hunting from 1969, Falling from the Sky, Night Heat, the TV show.
Was he in Mandy?
No.
Okay.
I don't think anybody actually in this movie was in Mandy.
Okay.
He was apparently in the Titanic 1996 movie and Rememory with Peter Dinklage.
Oh, okay.
In 2017. Also in the new remake series of V that went from 2009 to 2011.
Oh, yeah. I remember that show.
Which I have to watch. I want to watch both versions.
It's about reptilians. Yay.
But yeah, if you guys want to check out this movie, it's free on Tubi.
And Pluto.
Vudu. And Pluto. I mean, I'm not gonna say not to rent it.
Right.
If
Because
you
we
can
would
watch
never
it
say that.
free,
Just-
I would just go with that because it's one of those films that you don't know what you're getting into. Watch the trailer first. The trailer is very much, I think, is very reminiscent of what you're getting into.
Yeah, just be aware it might not be for you, and that's fine.
That is fine. This is one of these movies that on my third viewing, actually, third or fourth viewing, still don't quite understand.
I think the girl has psychic abilities, kind of like 11 from Stranger Things.
Yeah, here's what I pieced together from this plot. What the
He's
plot
from another dimension?
is that Elena is somebody with psychic abilities who has been put in this
compound. It's kind of like a research facility, like the Pentagon type.
That is posed as that has advertised itself as a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
Into which we have Barry Neal, who's played by Michael Rogers, who...
I don't even know how to describe him, because at one point you just think he's a psychiatric doctor, and then he takes out his contacts and off his wig, and you're like, oh.
That's at the end.
Yeah, and then they show a flashback that's like, oh, he was birthed from ink 20 years... Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a scene where he goes into this other dimension. Here's the thing.
It's...
Nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
And I actually want to look up what Panos Cosmatos said about it, because he
you're right, he said himself, he doesn't even know what it's
Well, he also
had
a quote to say about it that I wanted to say, because and I'm trying to find that. I love how people ask, is Beyond the Black Rainbow scary?
There's frightening instances.
I would not call it scary. I mean,
No.
I call it scary in the sense of...
unsettling, confusing, mindfuck, weird.
I mean, kind of giving also... it stands at 59 with viewer or critic scores on Rotten Tomatoes from 34 reviews and over 2,500 for audience, which ranks at 52. Right. The critic consensus, I'm trying to look here. It's labeled here, as sci-fi, and I agree with that. I wouldn't really call it horror.
100% agree.
Here's just kind of some of what the critic said, because I think that's also important. There's much to admire about Panos Cosmatos' directorial debut, this is what it got him. This was his directorial debut, and people actually watched this, and that's how they got him for Mandy. Mm-hmm. They were very interested, and I like that. I like the fact that they took that and were so impressed by his imagery and his established kind of, make whatever it is in your head to put the story together.
Right.
So there's much to admire about Panos Cosmatos' directorial debut, but the end result is admittedly not for all tastes. No. I agree. Beyond would be more interesting with limitations. Mm-hmm. One person said the movie looks like it was lit by lava lamps, scored on Moog synthesizers, written between bong hits, and acted underwater. None of this is bad test praise.
Dude, I'm sorry. Can this just be the episode? Since we don't know what the heck this movie is, and clearly no one else on the internet does, can we just read reviews for a while?
Yeah, I want to do this. Cool. I want to talk about some of the stuff too of why this works, because there's a lot to appreciate from this film too.
Are you on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll find some reviews to read too.
Comprehensively does not appear to be one of this writer/director's goals, but if someone is able to help Cosmatos marshal his raw visual talent, I'll be first in line to see a second film. Okay. Which definitely is a step up with Mandy. The pattern and now this movie also presents the idea of a death metal, a very metal type world with its visuals and the way it presents itself. Right. Mandy is definitely meant to be metal inspired. It takes place in 1983, as does this movie as well.
Which begs the question, same universe?
I believe it is confirmed that it is the same universe, just due to, if you've seen Mandy, we're not talking about that at all. No spoilers. No plot even about that. That is a movie that you need to see and be amazed in your own way. But due to some of the events in that movie, it is I think it's confirmed that it is part of the same universe. Beyond the Black Rainbow, it has a doomy, dreamy, druggy, draggy feel that's impressively sustained until it becomes oppressive and then pointless, then laughable.
Yeah. Which...
I wouldn't call it laughable as much as I
didn't laugh
say,
at all during this movie.
No, it was a lot of kind of turn your brain off and appreciate what you were seeing.
Yes. I do like this review. Much of the time watching Beyond the Black Rainbow is accompanied by head scratching, but perhaps that's the point of this trippy outing? Which
I completely agree with, and like I said, I think that's what Panos said. It's a very make your own interpretation.
Yeah.
I think both of our interpretation was that it was about a girl with kinetic powers, somebody who is birthed from the earth or crypt,
or an alternate dimension or universe, something. Who knows?
And is hell-bent on obtaining her powers.
Yeah. Until it inevitably at the end gets him killed.
Yes. A couple of others. This one from the more positive side. This one wild, odd, crazy film. This is one wild, odd, crazy film. But I'd say that the writer/director Panos Cosmatos succeeds. I want to watch it again and see what else is hiding inside. I agree with that.
Yeah. That's a good one. Another one I found. Cosmatos has created a nightmarish world that's aggravating, hypnotic, and original. Yeah, I'd agree with all three of those.
This is beyond it. I want to say, too, that the visuals and the way it works, the music, the sounds...
Yeah, exactly.
...works in such a way that hasn't really been done before.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always great.
Right.
Which is always great to kind of see that. I mean, that's what makes this movie so appealing, is the amount of retro wave color scheming throughout the entire film to make it seem trippy, but also almost immerses and mesmerizes you.
Yeah.
As you're watching scenes. So in a way, it's almost a visual treat. Mandy was the same way too. There's something to be said about Panos' work that every movie that you see by him, the two that he's done thus far in his work, they are not shy of giving you visual candy.
No, and they shouldn't be.
A couple of other movies that have done that is like, for instance, She Dies Tomorrow, I believe is one of them, but Daniel Isn't Real.
Yeah.
Another great movie for you guys to check out if you want to see something like this and Mandy.
Yep.
Is Bliss, which we definitely have to do. Bliss, holy shit.
Yep.
Masterpiece. There is no question in my mind. I don't care what anybody says. Bliss is a masterpiece. Visually and storytelling.
Right.
Wow. Holy shit.
One that comes to mind for me as far as just like strange happenings and like a world that you're not quite sure what's going on. Odd Thomas kind of fits that bill for me.
No, I feel like I've heard of it. Let me look it up real quick.
It's with God, I want to remember his name.
It's got Patton Oswalt, Anton Yelchin.
Rest in peace.
Willem Dafoe. I don't think I had the pleasure of seeing that, but it was on my list. It looked like the Asylum style poster, so I think when I was younger, I just kind of was like, I'll see it when I see it.
Mm-hmm. Odd Thomas. Sean dies at the end.
Haven't seen that either, though. That was always on my list, too. So, do that.
There's one
couple
movie
of other reviews, too. A hell of a trip, though the mind of a different filmmaker that will be relevant in the near future.
Mm-hmm. That has proven as well. That has proven to be true.
Yes.
With Mandy. Go ahead.
Fanboy homage meets surrealist fantasia, an incredible journey into a bygone era's bleak vision of the future, emerging with the dustbin of cinema history with something wholly thrilling, wonderfully new.
That's a great review. One I found, which I want to go more in depth through with this, because it does bring up other movies. Audience who appreciate oddball first efforts from talents such as Lynch, which made Eraserhead, Cronenberg, who made Shivers, and Joannette, which made Delicatessen. I will never figure out how to pronounce that movie. Will be thankful. And I do agree with that. Have you ever seen Eraserhead?
Not yet, and
Oh,
I've heard it's
wow.
good. I believe that's actually on HBO Max.
It is on HBO Max. You need to watch it for sure, because like
I have heard in the compilation of things that you should definitely watch as a cinema goer.
yeah,
That is on the top of one of their lists.
yep.
Out of the 10.
And Shivers by Cronenberg, he made some
I haven't
crazy,
seen that, but I have that.
crazy stuff for the time, for sure. Like,
Yeah, well, The Fly demonstrates that. You only have to
Yeah.
watch The Fly with Jeff Goldblum in order to really appreciate Cronenberg, which, you know, I'm going to go off on a whim and say, because I want to get Possessor uncut,
all right.
I'm going to say right away that because it's from Brandon Cronenberg, I want to say that he has a mind fuck style, too, because what I've heard about that movie... I mean, obviously the uncut version has a bit more violence, a bit more sex, and erect penises. Yes, I know, everybody. Erect penises. Oh man, it's the male form.
The male organ and all of its disgust.
It's all whole. You know, it's scary for all the men out there.
Calm down, feminazi.
Just calm down. We all have a penis, gentlemen. Okay.
Exactly.
It's nothing new, and you don't need to freak out about it because it's on screen. There's more to life than just seeing boobs on screen.
Yeah.
The human body is a masterpiece of art.
Yeah.
It's art. And that's why when you go to a museum, while you laugh as a kid and are like, that's naked. Yeah. Eventually you go and you realize why people admire that type of art. It's in its purest form.
There's a museum in California I want to go to, which I think it's literally called the Body Museum. And what they did was like they did some kind of
wax molds?
Well, not wax molds. It's like actual like bodies that people like they donated their bodies to science. So like their like muscle tissue and everything was like silicone was put over it, and it was made so it won't deteriorate at all. So it's like them playing tennis and all this stuff, and it's
that
like
sounds creepy, but also
it's
neat.
fascinating. I gotta look up some of that imagery for you.
Is it formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde is what you're thinking of. No,
or no, I'm trying to think of what they. What do they preserve? I think it's formaldehyde, because they preserved that. I don't know if you heard about that dead museum shark that was left to rot, and then people eventually saw that in the things, and then people were breaking her tank and everything.
Yeah, that's what one of them looks like.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Kind of.
The body exhibit. We had some here in Minnesota at the Science Museum. I thought this one always makes me. This one is crazy to look at, where it's like the guy running. Yeah, that'll stick with you.
Yeah, it's the abandoned shark that was left in Australia. Mm-hmm. That people were promoting because people broke her tank, and there's that creepy image. Mm-hmm. Of her sitting in her tank, and it looks like an animatronic.
Yeah.
But eventually they had to have people stop going in there because her tank leaked.
Oh, God.
Because a bunch of thugs went in there and trashed it. Rosie the shark.
I'm sorry, dude. You're too young to use that term. Thugs?
That's how they described it.
Those dang hoodlums. They messed up my lawn and took my mail back.
I'm just saying exactly what they said.
You're reading the article. Okay.
Thugs.
I'm just saying it doesn't sound great coming out of your mouth, unfortunately. Sorry, not sorry really, but you know.
No, but anyway, Rosie what I'm trying to figure out what she was preserved in, but they started restoring her, but whatever was preserving her, the criminals, the vandals, basically destroyed her tank and started leaking out and was giving poisonous gas.
Jeez.
Because, let me look up. What is Rosie? I know we're going off the topic, but it's a little like it's kind of an interesting story that you guys should look up.
Yeah. What do you think that is?
Interesting. Yeah, formaldehyde.
Yep.
So I was right. Yeah, the formaldehyde is poisonous to humans if you inhale too much of it. So. Yeah, I guess when they broke the glass, it started leaking, and so they ended up getting in there, and a bunch of people on the internet saw these abandoned videos and were like, "Oh, that's a big part of history," because she was caught in 1989 by accident, and she's a great white. So
How do you accidentally catch a fish?
fishing net,
Oh, okay.
and she died because great whites constantly have to move.
Yep. Otherwise, they just die.
They stop breathing.
It's really sad. And I know people are listening probably like, oh, sharks, they're dangerous. They eat people. Nope.
Hey, here's a little fun fact about Jaws 2 while we're spewing out some cinema facts.
Here we go.
Did you know Peter Benchley actually became a marine biologist, and after writing Jaws and getting the success from that, he also realized how many people were terrified of great whites and were determined to kill them. He also mentioned multiple times and made multiple statements that great whites are not vicious creatures.
No, they're not.
They literally mind their own business, and whenever they take a bite out of somebody from any shark, more often than not, it's because they're territorial, or they think you're a seal if you're a surfer.
Exactly. Like, or you're a sea tortoise from below. Because
Yeah.
it's never their fault. You know, anytime it's like, because people are like, oh, sharks eat humans all the time. Look up statistically how often a shark attack actually happens. Like, it's
Honestly, you're more likely to die of being electrocuted.
You're more likely to get struck by lightning.
I think there's like something like 39 to 49 people die a year of shark attacks.
Yeah, which
And
if you
that's
think of how many people are on this planet.
I mean, which is literally 2 to 3 being mauled.
Yeah.
Where the rest just maybe die of blood loss.
Yeah, because, well, or infection. Because think of it, if you're in the water, you get your arm bitten off, salt water gets in there, that can't be good, you know?
Yeah, so, no. The sharks, they mind their own business. There's plenty of videos out there with divers swimming next to them, and they don't mind. There was even a pregnant shark that the divers swam next to, and the shark didn't really care. She was like, oh, you're not bothering me, so...
Exactly, you're not antagonizing me.
And they pet her and everything, and she just kind of was like, whatever.
Yeah, there's a thing you can do where, like, it's weird, you can get bitten by a shark, quote unquote. Have you heard of this?
And they'll let go.
Well, it's like you put on some chain mail and you go down with diving experts, and then they put something on you so that a shark will bite at it. Yeah.
And eventually they'll let go, and they're just they lose interest.
When they realize they can't go through, but it's like, it's a thing of like, that's something you will never see me paying to do. You can also pay to get tackled by a tiger, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
That's what we call an accident waiting to happen.
Exactly. They're like, oh, when we train the tigers like this, they never really eat anybody. Yeah.
Never
I'm
really.
Good. Yeah. Like, it only happens once in a while. Yeah, but I could be that once, you know? What if I smell extra good that day? I'm kidding.
Exactly. But, purely experimental film that Panos did, and it shows. It shows in its greatness. It does make me wonder what seeing him do something like maybe even what a DC Metal adaptation would do with his color scheme and whatnot.
For sure.
Talking a little bit about it, I'm trying to look up some more of his comments.
Of what he said about it personally, about the film?
Yeah, because... I really don't want to read just all reviews because that's not really work.
Yeah, that's not good content, unfortunately. Like, just reading reviews.
If you guys want to do that and look up a bunch, that's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Depending on how this goes, guys, you may get a shorter episode, which is okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of, like, we just don't know... We don't know what to say.
It's hard, and I mean, I think you guys know in our last episode we were kind of talking about how we wanted to do the Wretched, and this is going to be more actually of a side or a bonus episode because we wanted to do a couple of bonus episodes like these where they are shorter.
Yeah, but unfortunately, one of us, he says, pointing to himself, is going out of town. So for a little bit for family concerns. So it's that's why this is a main and not just a bonus, unfortunately. And we're very sorry about that, but it's, It's something that can't exactly be helped. And I know you guys understand. I'm sure. I hope to God.
Beyond the rainbow, Panos Cosmatos. We'll see what he has to say.
You're doing your ASMR voice. We'll see what he has to say, Panos Cosmatos, about.
I'm sorry, I didn't know Nicolas Cage was with me.
And we're gonna be sitting here playing with some beans up to the microphone.
Cosmatos noted that the critical reception of the film was originally kind of muted.
Yeah.
Even downright negative. At first, but it began picking up better reviews after Tribeca 2011.
Yeah.
Which Mandy got, I think, 3 encores?
Yeah. What is that? 3 encores? As in, like...
To see it again.
Wait.
Or for them to keep going.
I'm confused. Is this one showing?
Yeah. When it went to the film festival.
So people watched it once and then asked to see it again 3 more times?
2 or 3, I think, yeah.
Same city?
Well, I got 1 encore and then I got another one, so yeah.
Oh! Wait, I'm so confused. Did they show it multiple times or no?
Yeah, they showed it like 1 or 2 more times.
No, I'm saying main like showing of the movies, was it scheduled twice? Like were they saying
no, it's a film festival.
Okay, so the people at the film festival wanted to see it 2 more times after seeing it.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more times. They did like 1 or 2 encores after that.
Wow. That's crazy to me.
So it's like everybody who didn't really give him positive credit. That's why I like the people who are saying he has a future in it. Because not every movie is going to be a slapdash masterpiece right out the bat.
Well, and like, again, I mean, I know money doesn't begout creativity, but I mean, if you think about it, it might sound like a lot to you or me, or maybe some of the people listening. $1 million for a budget for a movie? That's not a lot.
It's very hard to come by.
Mm-hmm. It's very difficult.
Especially back then and not having things. I think we forgot to mention, too, that the hole in the ground came from A24. There really wasn't a big... I think the biggest company at that time, at least that I can think of for the research that I've done when I started getting into indie films, was pretty much you had IFC and IFC Midnight.
Yeah. Especially for a movie like this, yeah. I mean, yeah, A24 is definitely... It keeps climbing, getting up there, because I think of every movie A24's released, I think they've maybe released 2 bad ones. Like, they are very good at picking which movies they're going to produce, you know?
Yeah, or they just have that tweak of, we want to tweak these while still giving... while still giving the sense of letting the creator do their thing.
Didn't A24 also come out with Midsummer?
And Hereditary.
And Hereditary, and The Green Knight.
Ari Aster.
The Green Knight's coming out this summer. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that got pushed back, and I was very disappointed, but I'm very excited to see that. To talk about a little bit of Panos Cosmatos, because before we do, Mandy, I kind of want to say that too. The reason he got inspired by some of these is there is a couple of videos too by Panos Cosmatos, I believe, on his YouTube channel that kind of talks about his childhood. Mm-hmm. He started out just like us, and very similar to Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Literally, I do believe if you have the talent, it doesn't matter what kind of schooling or what kind of shit you do. If you want to be a filmmaker, you'll make your way.
Yeah, of course.
Might be a little bit...
If it's your passion.
Might be a little bit painful, considering what Kevin Smith had to go through, selling his entire collection.
Yeah.
For way, like, I'd probably say that wasn't even 25% of what it was worth.
No. I think because it was a matter, he spoke about it, it was a matter of getting... It wasn't a matter of getting as much money as you could. It was a matter of getting the money quickly, because they had a very small window of time for some reason that I'm not sure about.
You know, it is one of those things too. Like a company, if you're going to do it and they're going to produce it and they're going to help you get out, they want to make sure that you're serious about doing it.
Yeah.
So it's also probably one of those where they were like, well, here we go. If we want to do this, if you want us to produce your project, give us the money so we know that you have it. And then, or we're going to go on to the next person who's ready to do their project.
Exactly. And so he ended up selling his collection of comics, collectibles, statues, all these things, selling it for, I think he said it was worth $4,000, but he sold them to his friend he would give them to his friend who would then sell them and flip them. And I think they made almost $2,000 off of that. and then the rest of the money that they got to produce that movie was from some minute investors, I think. And it's like, the fact that it even got made is a triumph, you know? Like, he has said publicly, even if that movie made nothing, I would have still been proud of the fact that I made it, you know? And I'm sure you feel the same way about projects.
Yeah, it's nice just to have your project out there, even if you don't. And I think everybody feels like you need to be this big, perfect person. And that's kind of like the ideals that I hate. You're making a project to make a project. Do you think anybody ever got anywhere? I mean, I don't want to use the actor that I'm thinking of right now just due to controversy. But I mean, one of the things I can think of off the top of my head is, you really think that Robert Kurtman or anybody made it there by just kind of sitting on their ass? I mean, not everybody you see, like Mark Ruffalo, there's a perfect example. He didn't finish high school. He didn't go to college.
Nope. Nope.
He's
a lot of creators.
Probably so fucking rich right now that he's probably set for life. Royalties, merchandise.
At this point, I feel like he's doing it for fun. At this point, like, based on his personality, he's doing it for fun.
Look at Chris Hemsworth. He's doing it for fun. Everybody's like, no, he's doing it for paycheck. No. He has his, he had his out.
Yeah,
he had his out. And he says he wants to keep doing it till he's an old man.
Yeah.
That's not.
I'm sorry. You get paid how much money to play pretend for a living? Like, that's amazing.
And for all of you, I know there's going to be people like...
That's what Skarsgård has said.
Well, of course they're going to do it for money. Yeah, you know, Harrison Ford gets plenty of money, but he didn't sit and play Han Solo for that whole Disney trilogy now, did he?
Yeah, and to the audience listening, we're not being this aggressive towards everyone, just the people who are being negative. You know
just the people who are negative, because, you know, Harrison Ford was like, kill him off, kill him off, kill him off, kill him off.
He's a guy who wanted to just be, he wanted to be to himself. And I respect that, because Lord knows there are days, I'm sure you have days too, where you're just like, nope, no one talked to me today, I'm just myself today. I'm just going to play this video game, and the world is gone.
I just, it's hard for me too, because I'm like, even like, Panos Cosmatos, he got that second feature.
Yeah.
He's not cranking out movies like crazy.
No.
Ari Aster isn't cranking out movies like crazy.
Mm-mm.
Robert Eggers isn't cranking out movies like crazy. Which I'm kind of disappointed that his junior film isn't going to be horror.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a drama. But I'm excited to see what he does with it. And I love the fact that A24 has invested so much into him. And I'm glad that A24 and stuff exists. They're basically the indie Toho and Universal.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think, was it Mandy and... I don't know about Beyond the Black Rainbow, but I know for sure Mandy was produced by RLJ Entertainment or something like that. RLJ Entertainment. Let me...
One person who, while you're looking that up, I will say... One person who I wish would make more movies, but again, I also don't, because he gets enough time to craft these movies, and that's why I love them. Do you know S. Craig Zahler? By chance? Okay. He has 3 movies that he has made that you will love. So he made, you probably have heard of it, a little film called Bone Tomahawk.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, which I haven't seen yet, but it's on my list.
Oh man, this is some
disturbing.
This is some gore that will make you cringe. This is some
Inferno.
Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Yep. Oh my god, we love that. I love that movie so freaking much.
I have never seen Vince Vaughn stretch so much, from like stereotypical Vince Vaughn to this. He's got range. No one can say at this point he cannot act.
I want you to remember too, he voiced Chet in F is for Family.
Yep.
And that was like a what?
Mm-hmm.
Vince Vaughn?
Exactly. Well, Vince Vaughn, here's a challenge to you people at home. Watch, what's it called?
Dodgeballs.
Watch Dodgeball, or watch The Delivery Man, or The Internship, and then watch Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Which, for those to sweeten the deal, Jennifer Carpenter, for all you Dexter fans, is in there.
Yep. And then he was also in that guy's movie that he made the year after that, Dragged Across Concrete, which I have not seen, but that's also got Mel Gibson, and it's like a cop drama with the same level of violence.
It's called Dragged Across Concrete. What do you expect?
Yeah, I swear.
And then there's Dog Eat Dog, which you guys should go check out too. But these are all movies that were also released by RLJ Entertainment. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they did Beyond the Black Rainbow. That's what I'm looking at right now, because I'm assuming that's going to kind of be Panos' home from now on. His
studio he goes to
studio go to
for when he pitches a script. That's his first one.
because and that's nice. That
Yeah.
I like this because they're very nice about it. No, I would go to my shelf and look, but it's not too bad. Let's see. Who produced Over the Black Rainbow? Let's take a look.
While you're looking that up, would you say, to an extent, every director kind of has like their thing?
Everyone does. It's what makes directors unique. There's no director in the world that can ever say that they don't have their own thing. Everybody has their own little niche. Everybody has their own little style that makes them unique to them, and they can change that style, but you will always still have that similar style.
Yeah.
Like with Steven Spielberg, if you look at Jaws, The Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and E.T., all similar in their tones. Then I want you to take a look at the fact that he's doing the modern, I would call it a modern adaptation, I wouldn't call it a remake, the modern adaptation of West Side Story.
Yes, I told you about that. You saw the trailer?
Yeah, my dad actually kind
Said
of mentioned that to me. Yeah.
It's got Ansel Elgort.
And
he's a great actor.
Take a look at that, and then tell me that these directors don't have a specific range that they can do. I want you to take a look at Duel, too. Duel is like Jaws, but Duel is very, very adrenaline-filled. It's a very fast-paced movie.
It doesn't give you a second to breathe. It does not.
Yeah. While it still has suspense, it's a very ongoing adrenaline film like Crank. So every director has their little niche. It's the little stitching that's relative to them.
Yeah.
It's the way that they can maintain their certain illusion of what they're good at and stitch that into every single corner of their project.
Exactly. Like I feel like
then flesh it out.
I feel like at this point, with how many movies I've seen in my life so far, I feel like I could definitely look at a movie and maybe guess the director. Like I could maybe be like, "Oh, this is a Ridley Scott film," or maybe this is a Christopher Nolan film.
I would even go so far as to say that you can even tell the universe that it originated from. I mean, James Cameron, you can tell that it's debatable too, that you could really tell if Aliens came from James Cameron, because if you showed me that Ridley Scott just done Alien and then you said Aliens without saying the director and just gave me a guess, I probably would have said it was Ridley Scott too. It's got a lot of atmospheric. The only thing that's different is action.
It's more action. It's way more action. But when you watch Aliens and Terminator 2 back to back,
very different styles.
Very different, but same dude.
Yeah, it's very neat. And that's why I like that the fact that a lot of people were willing to give Panos a chance in their reviews and saying that I want to see what he can do. Something I would have loved to see him do is High Life, as atrocious as that movie is in its nature.
That was one of the A24 movies that wasn't good.
Yeah, it was good in the sense of...
Rob Pattinson's great.
I would say it's a good movie in the sense of what it was trying to illustrate, the way it was executed, and the over-the-top, unnecessary visuals and disturbing elements was not needed. It did not need to happen. And you guys will have our review of that in probably a few months.
I will say with that movie, before you do hear that review, I will say like a merit to that movie, because I thought about it the other day and it totally makes sense to me. Not one of those actors is phoning it in. You can tell. They're all trying. They're all trying to make this a good movie. And I like when I can tell that. You know what I mean?
It's just, you can't... We don't need controversial scenes. That is something that I was very happy about that Beyond the Black Rainbow didn't do. Because, honestly, as sad as it is, and I'm just going to say it, is you would have expected the fact that there's a male therapist and a woman... Elena, who's played by Eva Allen, you would have expected the fact that Barry would have probably tried to rape Elena.
Just because of his body language, how he looks at her, like, and, you know, how
psychologically messes with her.
Exactly. Like, it's their relationship, it's sick, it's disgusting, it's weird, and as horrible as it sounds, that kind of turn would not have surprised me. You know?
No, and that's why I respect Panos Cosmatos so much. He didn't need to go that dark.
No.
Mandy had some very questionable scenes. It did not go that dark.
No.
And it's not even dark. It's cheap. Rape scenes are cheap.
Yeah, we don't need them. Sorry.
You don't need to do them. You don't need to flesh
Why
them
am I
out.
apologizing for that? We don't need them, period.
No, you don't need them. You can imply whatever you want. But that is the cheapest move to make you feel for a character. And that is another reason I love Panos Cosmatos' movies so much and why I love Over the Black Rainbow. It did not need it. It did not need that fleshed out ability to be like, you know, oh, let's do a controversial, you know, rape scene to make us feel even bad.
Exactly.
And worse for Elena.
No.
You know,
You don't need those kind of scenes to stand out. You don't.
Right. And
And if you do, you're doing it wrong.
and it works so well just to have that basis.
Mm-hmm.
Without
it really
that.
does.
You know, and to kind of give you guys the idea of why this movie is that way, and it kind of makes a lot more sense too, and I totally forgot to read the description. A heavily sedated woman with ESP tries to escape from a secluded commune where she's being held captive.
Yeah, you partially read it. You read a summed up version of it earlier on in the episode.
Yeah, and that is why this movie is the way it is, and partially, like, when you go into it, knowing that gives you a different perspective, because it's like, you're not really supposed to understand.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, I almost think the reason I appreciate this and think it's such a masterpiece is because if you look at a movie like Joker,
Yeah.
such an unreliable narrative.
Right.
That is why I love this movie, because you can't tell what is actually real and what is being, if you're being drugged. A series that did that really well, where you have no idea what the fuck is going on until the end, is Legion.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Men hero. Legion. Oh my god.
The fact that season 2, the first episode...
Don't spoil anything, because I haven't made it.
Season 2?
I haven't started season 2 or 3.
Then. But, yeah, I agree with you. Amazing show. I couldn't think of a better way to depict that character. Dan Stevens is an amazing actor, and he perfectly leans into it. And Aubrey Plaza's character is hilarious.
Yes, they embrace it, and they embrace the craziness, which honestly I don't like how their quote is lock yourself in a rubber room and binge.
Yeah.
Because really I don't think it's healthy for anybody to watch TV series like that.
No.
It like
Take it from a guy who watched all of Game of Thrones in 3 weeks. It's not healthy. Take your time.
You need time to mentally process.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I feel like you can also pause and to kind of give you just an idea of how many people like it overall, because ratings don't also matter, is the fact that 81% of Google users like this movie.
Yeah. That says something. It really does.
I know there's some of you that are like, well, no, because anybody could just like the movie, and statistically, look at some of the movies on here that got pretty low ratings. No. And they're indie. There's definitely people who,
For sure.
handful of cinema goers. When I worked at Family Video,
Oh, here we go.
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
You met so many cinema goers and movie buffs that it was so fun. Because my favorite part is I'd recommend something like Mandy to them, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's not typically my style, but I'll trust you on it."
Yeah.
And then they come in a week later and they'd be like, "Holy shit, that was the best movie ever, man. It was so awesome." I'm like, I told you.
You and I had this similar relationship when we met, of like, I was like, have you seen this? And I'd pull out a Blu-ray and you're like, no. I was like, you should check it out. And you were like, okay. And maybe there was a part of me at the time who just wanted the customer's money. But the point...
I have to make my sales.
I was correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you gave me good reviews.
I always like that. The film community of cinema goers, especially with indie films, they're so neat. They're so cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolutely great people to work with, and they're awesome to have discussions with, because they don't shy away from recommendations that you give them.
Yeah, and you need that sometimes.
That is one of the things, though, that I also love about... that's one of the things I do love about pure and simply horror groups on Facebook who take things like Over the Black Rainbow and they just have the mentality of this is not traditional.
But that's why I'm giving it a chance.
Yeah, and that's why I'm gonna be very happy. Just.
Just seeing it.
Just being, enthralled by it and what it is.
And I feel like that's how you should feel about a movie.
You should. I feel like every movie should have a sense of wonder, and
that's what movies are.
It's so nice. I mean, like taking a chance. Like we watched Willy's Wonderland. That was a big step.
Yeah.
And that was a big bet, and I was having high hopes for it.
I enjoyed most of it. There's some cheesy bits.
I love the cheesy bits because it was so reminiscent of what you would expect.
What was your favorite line again?
From
You ain't gonna get that ass by kissing that ass, or something like that.
So,
kissing that ass ain't gonna get you that ass. That's what it was.
Yeah, because I have it all written down in Samsung notes.
Okay.
Kissing that ass ain't gonna get you that ass.
Yeah. Interesting dialogue, I will say. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
I think we could. I know it's a bit shorter today, guys, and it's an hour, but it is one of those things where I feel like
it's an experience that you have to have yourself, and that might sound like a cop-out, and it is. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, we are going a little shorter because we've kind of said all we can say.
Yeah. Set design looked amazing. That's about all we can say left.
Yeah, it's something that you should experience for yourself. This was supposed to be meant for a side. We were supposed to do something different, and we never did.
Asking me to describe this movie so people can imagine it in their heads is like asking me to describe why the Mona Lisa is art. I can't. You have to look at it. I can't. Okay?
Honestly, the Mona Lisa kind of freaks me out. Its eyes follows you everywhere.
That's how most paintings are. That's the design of them.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about that.
You get paranoid by the weirdest shit. Anyway, Film Nerds Hour. Thank you for listening for the month of May. We enjoyed it. Hope you did too.
That's been the thing, the Shoemaker.
He's been Noah Sweeto.
See you later, everyone.
Bye-bye.